Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Pillow Fort Talk with Heather, Avani, and Vale. This is the podcast where we try to talk about specific topics and quickly spiral out of control. Grab a blanket, some wine, and join us in the fort for what we hope is an entertaining and relatable bitch session. I want you to go ahead and rip the American healthcare system apart.
Oh,
I'm ready.
God.
I'm fucking ready.
Do it. And I am ready with a notepad for all the times you need me to write a timestamp. Fine. Okay. I have to get my gallbladder out. A lot of people get their gallbladder out. This is a very simple procedure.
Yeah.
Quotations. So, whatever, I'm all ready. I did everything they told me to do. I was eating healthy before, so there'd be no complications afterwards with my eating process. I get my surgery, and the day of the surgery, I'm like, damn, my stomach hurts. It's probably the little stitches. They're healing. I'm just in recovery. Day 2. Holy shit! My fucking stomach hurts. But, it's really killing me.
And this is why you were still in the... This is while you were still in the hospital, or were you...
No. They released me the same day of the surgery.
Okay, so you were home.
I'm sorry. Let's rewind. So I have the surgery, and my doctor's like, okay, right after surgery, I'm off because I'm going on vacation. See you in a few weeks. I'm not even in Florida anymore.
What the fuck? Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
This person does the surgery, and, I don't think I saw her after the surgery.
Still?
I remember waking up and the nurses are like, oh, you're looking pretty good. And, asking me a few questions, and they're like, I think you can go home now. And I was like, okay.
She did your surgery, washed her hands, and picked up her luggage and was like, bye!
At the airport, she was gone. This bitch left.
Was she even there for the surgery? Are you sure she just wasn't there for looks while you went out?
No, she was there on fucking FaceTime, and she was telling someone, and then you do this, and then this.
Yeah, she's waiting in line with her ticket while the intern's doing it.
Yeah.
She's getting patted down by TSA. So,
well, hold on. I'll tell you how to stop the bleeding once I get this wand.
Hold on. I'm gonna have to put down my phone. It's gonna go through the machine, and then I'll tell you how to stop the bleeding. Just absolutely ridiculous.
Kicked back with a margarita.
She was
anyway, sorry.
Boy, that looks rough. Sipping on some drink. I'm glad I'm not you. Fucking sitting in the sun. Bitch, come on.
She's in the Sky Lounge drinking free wine. Just putting cookies on top of her phone.
That shit's straight up disrespectful. So they send me home, and then I'm dealing with the whole pain stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's fucking stupid. So I think on the second day, I go to the emergency room, and I'm like, yo, guys, this is just too much. I am in so much pain. I'm breathing softly.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, okay. They put me in the room. They, take an x-ray. And they're like, huh, you're pretty constipated, aren't you? And I was like, yeah, and? Yeah, and? Been constipated since I was 14, bitch. I know what it feels like.
That's not this.
That's not this. That ain't this. I'll tell you right now, constipation does not reach you, up here under your boob.
Yeah.
It was a burning sensation under my rib, and I was like, I'm dying.
They're just like, no, you're just filled with poop. You're just fine.
I just haven't shit in a while, and I'm like, I know what it
feels
like.
You are literally full of
shit.
It's all poop. It's fine.
It's all poop. It's fine. So they send me home.
Oh my god.
2 days later.
No, the fuck they didn't. Wait a minute. They really sent you?
So they sent me home.
Was this and this was the same hospital?
It was the same hospital. I'm like, damn. That's rough. I was like, maybe they're right. Maybe I'm overreacting. Except for, so my parents came to took care of me for the surgery, and it had been 2 days, and they're like, "Are you fine? You're not dying?" And I was like, "No, I'm not dying. And they're like, okay, then we're gonna go out for the first time since we got here. And I'm like, sure. Like, my parents leave. 2 hours later, I went to the bathroom because I was like, I don't know. The bathroom is my, like, safe place. I like to, like, either shower or get water running, something that will make me feel happy. So I go to the bathroom, I'm like, and I sit down on the toilet. I'm thinking, I just need to breathe this out. I'll be fine. And then I pass out and, like, fall forward. And I slam my arm onto the ground. But ever since I was little, or ever since cell phones were a thing, and I used to pass out a lot, I would take my phone with me to the bathroom. So the phone's sitting there next to my face when I wake up, and I text my husband, call 911. I can't move.
Oh gosh. You did an Elvis.
Yes, I did an Elvis. Like, I'm just fucking on the floor. I can't open my eyes. The pain is just ridiculous. I'm just focusing on breathing, because if I can breathe, I'm alive.
Yeah, right?
And my husband comes trying to open the door, and it's locked. And it was funny, because after the fact, we were making jokes about it. He couldn't open the door, and I'm like, find a butter knife and open the door. Because it's one of these fake little locks, you know, the ones inside the houses?
Yeah.
So he opens the door with a knife, and he puts it down on the counter of the bathroom. So when the ambulance shows up, and the firefighters come to the house, my husband's sitting there with a knife in the bathroom, like just randomly standing there with a knife in the bathroom. And he was like, I wonder what they thought when they saw that.
Their first thought was he tried to murder her.
Yeah, I'm passed out on the floor. I'm fucking dead. And my husband's standing there with a knife in the bathroom.
My first thought is, why the fuck did you lock the door?
I always lock the door when I use the bathroom. It's a thing. I grew up with
She
brothers.
doesn't want the shadow people to come in.
I mean, I respect it. I also habitually lock the door, but if I think I might be dying, which I
didn't know
always
I
do,
was dying. I never die, except for when I die.
I mean, I think with your track record, you should just never lock the door again.
I can't. I feel so exposed. And it's crazy because no one else is here, just me and my husband, but I'm like, I can't do it. I have to lock the door. So then the firefighters also got real dumb, because they're like, how are we going to lift this woman off the floor? And they just stood around looking at me for a few minutes. They were just standing there looking at me. And my husband's like, put the blanket under her and lift. So the firefighters get a blanket, and then they don't want to move me, so my husband's moving me to put the blanket under me.
Oh my gosh.
But then only one of the firefighters is standing on the other side, and my husband is standing on the opposite side. You know, not his job, but now he's carrying me because the firefighters couldn't.
Yeah, because apparently that's hard.
Yeah. Then these motherfuckers. Actually, I'm thinking. I was trying to check if the bruise was still there.
It's there. You can kind of see it.
Then these motherfuckers go down the stairs, grab the blanket, and throw me into the fucking ambulance. That's where the bruise came from. That's why I had the bruise for 3 weeks. So when they threw me sideways and I landed on my arm. And this whole thing was just fucked. My entire arm was absolutely fucked. They strapped down my ankles and then they just took off. And my ass was just fucking slamming across the fucking ambulance bay like,
oh my gosh.
These guys sucked so bad. And then I'm sitting here like, can you do anything for the pain? I am absolutely dying. And they're like ignoring me because they're talking about their shifts. They're like, this is the first time I had a shift with you. Oh, what days do you work? Well, I work these days and I work the other days. And I'm sitting there like, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you.
What?
And I'm just fucking slamming around because I'm not held down to anything. With my one good arm, I was holding onto the bed, and my other arm was fucked, and I couldn't use it.
Yeah.
So with one arm, I'm holding onto the bed while just like rattling around. I'm like, if I would have fallen off this shit, I was already in enough pain. They busted my arm, and then I almost fell off the bed inside the ambulance and rolled around like fucking jelly beans.
None of this sounds like appropriate procedure.
No.
So I get to the hospital, and these motherfuckers are like, huh, you were here 2 days ago. You must still be constipated.
Oh my fucking god.
No.
And at this point, I can barely open my eyes. The only function I can do, I couldn't speak, I couldn't open my eyes, I couldn't anything. I could just breathe. If I could breathe at a slow enough pace, I could lower the pain slightly. So I was concentrating on just breathing. I looked like a corpse.
Yeah.
So one day passes. They didn't do shit. They didn't even give me pain medication until I think the second day. They're like, here's some morphine. And I'm like, thanks for the morphine. It's not helping. If your morphine's not helping, what does that tell you?
Yeah, for real. Like, what the fuck?
So they're like, oh, we're gonna call your surgeon. Which then later, she threw them under the bus, which I love. So they say they call the surgeon. And she tells them some shit. And they didn't do anything. They left me there, just fucking dying. But then, they started giving me, like, IVs around the clock. So I'm just getting, like, building up with water. And then they started giving me 3 laxatives a day. And 1 morphine. And I think 2 Tylenols. And I'm just an absolute wreck. So my mom couldn't see me for the first 2 days. On the 3rd day, she walked into the room, looked at me, and just started wailing. Because I didn't look like I looked like I was dead. I was pale. I had no color on my lips. My eyes could not open. I couldn't speak. And I was just fucking barely breathing.
Did you sleep at all even? Like, were you just awake?
I would sleep in little breaks because the pain would be too much to let me sleep.
Yeah.
But, like, I could meditate my way into, like, an hour of sleeping. Because that's basically all I was doing in the hospital. I was breathing and meditating. I'm like, I can do this. I can fucking do this, man.
So basically, and it sounds like they didn't call your fucking surgeon. It sounds like they were like, she's full of poop. Let's work on that and then get her out of here. That's what it sounds like they were working off of.
For real. Like, that's the only thing they did. That's the only thing they said. And then I think on the 5th day, they gave me a CT scan. And that CT scan said my liver was leaking. And the liver had leaked a substantial amount of liquid into my free-floating abdomen. It was not where it was supposed to be. It was just floating around burning stuff. Because it was very acidic.
Jesus.
So it was just burning the lining of, like, my abdomen. Because it wasn't in my stomach. It was the lining of my abdomen. It burned the bottom part of my liver, I think. And it burned the outside of my stomach. And they're like, oh, we need to put a little shunt in there, a little metal mesh, so that the liquid from the liver doesn't just float into your abdomen and it actually goes into your intestine like it's supposed to. I'm like, and you guys couldn't figure this out a week ago?
Like, do you have permanent damage from that now?
It supposedly is supposed to heal.
Supposedly my ass.
This is why it's been like a month and I'm still fucked and I can't do a lot of stuff.
I mean, at this point, anything the hospital tells you is supposedly supposed to happen, fuck them.
I would believe supposed to.
Yeah,
fucking
I would
fuck these guys.
A damn word that they would say at this point.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So then they're like, okay, you need this surgery, but then after that you need another surgery to put in a drain because the liquid was just sitting there burning.
Yeah.
But then they took another CT and they're like, oh, well, it's a lot, but it's not too much. Because, like, do you want to come back here in, like, 3 months to get a drain out? And I was like, not even conscious. And they're asking, what do you think? And I was like, whatever you guys think. Because, like, what was I going to do? I couldn't even open my eyes.
Yeah, so, what the fuck?
The liquid is still there. But it traveled from near my liver down to my bladder. So now my pain is like, I'm a pregnant lady holding the bottom of my stomach.
Oh my gosh.
Oh. And it was super fucking great. After that, I think 2 days later, they're like, well, we can't let you out until you shit. And I was like, I've had so much morphine, I don't think anything's moving. My whole abdomen is frozen. There ain't nothing going on here. Then finally bowel movement, and they're like, go home. And then like a week later, I went to my primary doctor. I'm like, I'm in pain. And he's like, let me see your papers. And I was like, they didn't give me any. They gave me one set of papers from the first day after they released me. I give my doctor these papers, and he's like, oh, wow, your liver enzymes are 3 times the normal amount of people. Did they do anything about that? And I was like, no, they sent me home. And my doctor was like in disbelief.
Yeah.
He's like, no fucking way. He was like, yeah. He's like, I'm gonna send you to do a whole bunch of other tests to make sure everything's running smoothly. Maybe this is just pain from, like, recovery pain, which there was a lot to recover from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, okay, so everything seemed to be going well. He did all the tests over here. My primary doctor, not a surgeon. His actual response when he read that was like, that's 3 times the normal amount of liver, like, your liver's supposed to be at. I'm no surgeon, but... was his actual comment. I'm no surgeon, but...
that shit ain't right.
That shit ain't right. So then I made an appointment when my surgeon came back. And she needs someone to come with her to the room to be her, what's the word?
Witness?
Witness. Yeah. She had a witness come in. I was like, huh, that's pretty weird. You didn't have a witness any of the other times they came to you. So then she's like, oh, they called me when you were in the hospital, and I told them they had to do this scan, and they didn't do it until like a week later, but that's on them. I told them what to do.
Okay, first off, if she's on vacation, isn't there another surgeon that's supposed to be responsible for her patients?
Yeah, that's usually how that works.
I mean, the hospital had 2 surgeons watching me. I was on 2 surgeons' cases. They just didn't give a fuck,
neither of those
apparently.
surgeons knew to do those tests.
I ain't go to med school, but pretty sure you should look for what's the problem.
I have watched 13 seasons of Grey's Anatomy. And I can tell you they should have done those tests.
Yeah. A lot sooner than they did.
So yeah.
Like, day 1 would have been nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, somebody has severe abdominal pain, maybe we should see what's in the abdomen.
Especially right after abdominal surgery.
Yeah.
The dumb thing about the fact that they gave me an x-ray, x-rays will show you 3 things. Bones, air, and specific x-rays will show specific liquids. But mainly, you're just seeing bones and air. You're not seeing organs, you're not seeing nothing. You're seeing bones and air. If my liver is not working right, you're not going to see that on an x-ray.
Right.
I'm like, okay, I
Clearly,
did go to medical school for
bones-
that. Like, I was a rad tech. I did x-rays and CTs and MRIs, and I can tell you, you do an x-ray, you're not finding shit unless a bone is broken.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason they saw constipation was because you see air build up in the intestines. You see bones and air. That's it. That's all you're gonna see.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, this is fine. This is good enough. We didn't just do a surgery. We didn't just have to deal with a bunch of different organs. We're not going to look at them.
Yeah, this hospital sounds like it's full of incompetence. Like, they should not be doing surgery on people.
And everyone was like,
Shut
oh,
it down.
your surgeon, it was your surgeon's fault because she left, and blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, okay.
Right.
But I went to the hospital 2 times after that.
Yeah.
And they're like, nah, you're good.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's... I wonder if something happened during the operation that could have been avoided, like a medical error on her part, but even so, even if it's just a normal complication, the hospital just didn't do their due diligence.
Like, you don't send someone home that looks like a corpse.
Yeah, what the
You don't
fuck?
send a corpse home. You either treat the corpse or send them to the fucking, like, morgue. That's it.
Treat the corpse.
Call the necromancer.
You either revive the corpse, do some voodoo hoodoo, or you send that shit to the morgue. No, let's send that shit home. It was so horrifying. Like, I really thought I could have died. And the way they were treating me, I could have. Because that would have kept leaking and leaking until I got blood poisoning and I died.
Yeah, that's a big fucking deal. They big fucked up.
Like, I need an investigation on the surgeon. I need an investigation on the hospital. I need an investigation on all them bitches.
Yeah. Well, because it's not just about what they did to you. It's like, okay, if this happened to you, it's probably going to happen to other people because they are not doing their due diligence. They should not be, in business.
So, like, this hospital, I really loved this hospital. But in the last year, it got bought up by, like, a corporation. And I think they changed the rules, and these doctors are like, unless we, like, I think they have a quota or something, I don't know, but they are treating people completely different.
They don't want to run tests that cost them money unless they absolutely have to.
Yeah.
They're like,
so they're going to try and do
like
everything else.
That's a business model. Everything that's a business is about saving money and making money.
We can't do these tests because all she has is constipation. Me just fucking twitching, fucking looking white as a sheet. Just like
that is clearly constipation.
Like the worst case of constipation they've ever seen, but just constipation.
It's fine.
Possibly be anything else.
Jesus.
But I feel like the most ridiculous thing is that if they thought it really was constipation, but it was this bad, you're not gonna do anything about it?
That's where I'm at. Like, damn, they couldn't tell by looking at you. Like, Jesus.
Like, maybe we need to see exactly how much poop is in there.
Yeah, like
vacuum out some poop.
They're like,
vacuum out.
Like, she has her whole body weight worth of poop, but we're not gonna do anything about it.
It's like the South Park episode where you just shit the tower.
Wow, that sounds like a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, it's a train wreck, Vale.
It was an absolute train wreck.
We like train wrecks when we're not on them. Did you not understand the not on them portion of that?
Oh no, that shit fucking swung by and just caught me unsuspecting.
Yeah, it was just like, yoink!
I was just walking along the road and then yoink!
From the tracks.
Jesus.
I need to start admiring the tracks from farther away.
Yeah, use binoculars.
As if you don't have enough fucking bullshit going on.
Like, I thought the same thing. I was like, I needed this in my life.
Clearly.
My life has been so uneventful.
Clearly. Jesus.
Like,
Heather, we're not keeping her life lively enough that she had to almost die. We need to step it up.
Again. Jesus
Can I get a pass? Like, I need a pass every once in a while.
You're like, at this point, I don't know if you're human, because like,
Vale is a vampire.
You got some crazy shit going on, and I'm so glad that you're here.
Yes.
I don't know how you're here.
Well, my mom always says we're mutants, so
maybe she knows something, and you need to start asking questions.
My mom always makes those jokes because my mom and I will get some crazy medical shit, like things people have never heard of, and suddenly we'll get better. And she's like, "It's just our mutant powers."
Yeah, no, I'm on board.
I was like, "I'm a fucking X-Men."
Yeah, no, 100%. Jesus.
Are you distantly related to some guys named Ninja Turtles?
They're my cousins.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Damn, man. Well, I'm sorry.
Shit has been absolutely ridiculous. And, like, it has changed our way of looking at things. So I'm gonna get this last surgery in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And so my parents were like, oh, we have to be there just in case. And my dad's like, we're only gonna get the ticket to get there, and we're not gonna take the return ticket because we know what happened last time.
Yeah. No,
so,
100%.
like, now we all have like PTSD and we all treat things differently now. We're like, well, we gotta watch her.
Well, I mean, if you were my fucking daughter and that happened, I would tear that hospital apart. Every part of that hospital would just be in fucking pieces.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if we had the full story, I think Heather and I would have made a drive.
yeah, because I know Avani was really worried about you. I was really worried about you. There were a couple times when I was scared for you.
Like, it's bad that, like, I think a week in, I told my husband, text Heather or something.
Yeah, when I got a fucking text from your husband, you know how fucking I was like, oh no. I saw his name and I read, this is Vale's husband, and I was like, oh god. I was like, this is it. No.
So look, 3 or 4 days after Heather gets that text, I'm like, have you heard from Vale? I'm really worried about her.
I thought your husband texted both of us.
I don't remember who he texted, I'll be honest.
Me. Just me.
So I gave Heather a lecture on whenever Vale has surgery, whoever gets a message checks with the other, did you get the message?
I just assumed that she got the message.
And I'm just sitting over here like, I don't want to be annoying, but I'm worried.
And the whole time, because those were the couple of days when you were out that she was, Avani, you were messaging in our group chat.
Yeah.
Just
and all of a sudden,
stuff.
Vale just disappeared, and I got real fucking worried.
And I was just sitting there like, oh, that's nice. She's leaving messages for when Vale comes back.
I had no idea.
So I totally dropped the ball on that one.
I don't remember like who my husband had texted. Like, I knew he texted you, Laura, and I think my other best friend. I don't remember who else. And I was like, well, at least Heather knows, so Heather can tell Bonnie.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. Like, tell Heather. Heather can tell me. That's cool. I limit the number of texts you have to send. Just Heather has to tell me.
Yeah, no, the rules are now established. It's okay.
Now we have rules. We didn't have rules before. We were just flying by the seat of our pants. We were just fucking doing the shit.
It was, I think it's also the phrasing of the message, because he was, I think he said something along the lines of, Vale told me to text you guys, so I figured he had done the other texting. That's how my brain did the thing.
He probably wrote one message, copy paste, copy paste.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh man, because the next day we didn't get any news. Or I can't remember when we got the news, but it was longer than I wanted to wait.
It was quite a while because I couldn't open my eyes. I couldn't use my phone. I had nothing. I was just like,
well, the day you did end up messaging us was the afternoon. I had texted him to ask for an update. But yeah, it was radio silence for a little bit, and I was like, did she die? Is everything okay? What's going on?
Like, if I had died, you would not have heard about it for like a month, I swear.
Because you know what he said? He was like, Vale wants you to know she's back in the hospital, but everything's gonna be fine. And I was like, if Vale's saying everything's gonna be fine, I don't believe her.
It's definitely not gonna be fine.
It's like, if she thought to say it's gonna be fine, it's probably not fine.
If I had to go back to the hospital, you know it's not fine.
My
ass who walks down the road having a heart attack.
That's exactly what I thought about. I was like, this bitch, you're not fine.
Yeah. It's the exact thought process I had. Okay. It's worse than a heart attack.
Yeah, we talked about it. When I told Avani about the message, I was like, I don't know, he said this, but I don't believe her. I don't think she's fine. And Avani was like, no, I don't believe her either.
She most definitely is not fine.
Not fine. Everything is not fine.
I'm the type of person who walks down the road while having a heart attack at like 12 o'clock at night.
Oh, let me just
all
get
white.
Fucking fresh air. It's fine.
Getting fresh air. My lungs needed fresh air to oxygenate my fucking blood. I don't know.
Didn't wake up the sleeping husband right next to you. No.
Was my husband sleeping or was he at work?
I thought you said he was sleeping in bed next to you. And you didn't want to bother him, so you went outside for a walk or something.
Oh no, he was sleeping, but he was sleeping in the other room.
Oh. Yeah, you can't wake him up if he's in the other room.
You gotta go outside and freak out the neighbors.
I went outside the back door because I know the front door makes too much noise, and if I would have opened it, he would have woke up. So I snuck out the back door.
What kind of mental trauma do you have to not wake your husband up?
For a heart attack.
And then consider what door to fucking open.
Yeah, but how can I get away from this situation as quickly and quietly as possible?
Yeah.
So I don't disturb him. Bitch!
Did you think if you left the house you could leave the heart attack in the house?
Yeah,
Just run away from it.
I don't know. I have a weird thing. I don't like to bother people, and I don't like to inconvenience them, and I realize I take it too far.
Yeah, you do.
God forbid you ruin the fucking movie.
I got so mad about that.
Oh,
I was mad at you and I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But like, I was like, I knew it wasn't gonna be anything. It was probably just like a panic attack or something.
Dude, just shut up.
I'm sitting there like, and so I had my hand on my pulse, like it's taking my pulse, and I was like, damn, that shit's high. And I was like, that's a lot of heartbeats. And I was leaning back and then breathing really slowly. I couldn't even tell what was on the screen because I was just like dissociated. And then after the movie, I was like, man, we almost had to go to the hospital. And they're like, what?
Jesus.
Maybe we should make another rule about hospitals. And every time Vale may or may not have to go, she messages us, and we determine if it's a good time to inconvenience somebody.
I like that idea. I love that idea. Let us be your inconvenience monitors.
Yeah. You tell us if it's inconvenient.
Hey, do you think it'll bother this person if I tell them I might be dying? No, you should tell them.
No, you should probably tell your husband.
You should tell them right now. Not in 20 minutes. Not in an hour.
Not sitting through the 2.5-hour movie, dipshit.
When Avani was like, tell your husband, like, what you're feeling, was like, I am, I just have to wait till he wakes up. Like, the other day, I was like, why are you attacking me?
I did, I straight came for you. I called you on your shit.
It was pretty nice. It was good. It was a good one.
Be nice to me, I almost died.
My dad died, be nice to me.
Oh my gosh.
You like me better.
That is not working with my husband, by the way. At all. No. It's like, oh, my dad died, you have to be nice to me. My dad died, you have to give me a kitten. He's like, you didn't even fucking like him, no.
He knows too much.
He knows too much!
Speaking of which, your husband should know too much, and I don't think he's on the ball as much as he should be, so I would like to give him a stern talking to.
It's not his fault. I'll tell him after the fact. I always tell him after the fact.
You're the worst.
No, okay, no. What was it, last week that I was having like crazy heart palpitations and my blood pressure was through the roof? No? I didn't tell you about that? And my husband was at work?
No, you didn't tell us about that. No.
It was like literally like a week ago. Oh, because you guys don't have my Instagram. I posted the fucking heart monitor, and I have this cool like EMS bag, emergency services bag, that has all of the shit to make sure I'm still living in. So I was all connected to a whole bunch of machines, and I was like, this ain't good. but I also was in so much pain from the liver thing that it's not like I could drive. And I was like, I can't get myself to the hospital. And I know my husband's working. I'll wait a few minutes.
So about moving back to Puerto Rico, you're gonna move with your parents? You're gonna, yeah?
Yeah, my husband was like, yeah, you fucking move. Fucking go.
You gonna stay with your mom? I think that's a good plan.
Do you not think that your husband would leave work if you called him and said,
No,
I'm dying?
okay. So this time I was texting him the whole time. So he said he was gonna come pick me up and take me to the hospital, and I told him no. And he was like, okay, well, you have to text me back every 10 minutes. If you don't text me back every 10 minutes, I'm gonna go to fucking pick you up. I was like, all right, perfect, we got it.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I
still would have left to come
I
get
literally
your
had to
ass.
text him every 10 minutes, and I was like, okay, I'm feeling a little better. I'm feeling a little better. Okay, I'm feeling good enough that I can go to sleep. And he's like, when I get home, I'm gonna... Yeah, because didn't I tell you guys that I told him to come check on me when he came back from work? No?
Mm-mm.
No.
Okay.
No, and
So when he
still,
got back
10
from work
minutes-
at like 6 a.m, he opens the door and he's like, are you alive? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And he's like, you fucking worried me. And I was like, yeah.
The are you alive question, though. Like, he's just so used to your health issues. Fucking, yeah, no, 10 minutes is too long. You could have died in 10 minutes. I would have made you text me constantly.
I was mostly texting him because, like, I just continuously, because it was every 10 minutes I would take my blood pressure to make sure that it was, like, no longer in, you're about to have a heart attack.
Ah.
So every 10 minutes I'd be like, okay, so it's like this now, so it's like a little lower, it's less than a heart attack, it's like,
Yeah, but
here's
like,
the
what
scale.
what if you were to text him in 10 minutes and be like, okay, heart attack is happening. He still has to leave work and get to you.
Okay, his work is like 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes. It takes 2 minutes to walk there. Driving, it takes like 30 seconds. It's
Gotcha.
not far.
Okay, that's different. Okay.
Yeah, he used to walk to work before it was too fucking hot.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
So it's not like it's far. If I was having a heart attack, he'd get here in a minute. Then
That's
it would
enough
take us
time
like
for you
30
to
minutes
die.
to get to the hospital.
It is. It very much is. It's
Okay, but if I was in the middle of having a heart attack and he came to pick me up, the 1 minute that was spent is no, like, the hospitals are very far from us.
Yeah.
The hospital that fucked me up is like almost 30 minutes, and then a major hospital is actually 30 minutes. So if I'm having a heart attack, I better not die in 30 minutes.
I mean, so far you've lasted.
It's like, okay, let me, Vale, these heart attacks are not training for the big heart attacks. All heart attacks are a problem, okay?
I have heart medication. Like, I had to double up my heart medication that night. I was like, I'm not supposed to, but bloop, bloop. And I was like,
I'm not
better.
supposed to, but here.
But what's the worst that could happen? It
now I'm a better
stops.
doctor than my doctor. Fucking.
You know what? You know what? At this point, with that other hospital, yeah, man.
Exactly. I have better credentials. I am a better doctor than those doctors.
You're stressful.
I stress myself.
Vale.
I stress myself. I really do.
My goodness.
Because every time something really, really bad happens, the next morning I'm like, I really should have went to the hospital. Next time,
no
I'm not
shit.
going to do this. And next time, I do the exact same shit.
Text us during the episode in which you're thinking, should I, shouldn't I? And then we'll just handle it from there.
That shit's expensive. Did you see that ambulance bill? I know I got
No.
time for that.
But it's fine, because you're gonna win and get rich, and then you'll never have to worry about how much an ambulance costs again.
Speaking about that, I was like talking to my husband, I think yesterday, day before yesterday, I was like, I'm gonna start playing the lottery, because if I have like, my luck for being the 1% is so high, I better be the 1% to win the lottery. And he's like, if you're gonna win, do it before I sign up again, because my contract's about to renew. I don't want to keep working if you're rich.
Yeah.
I was like, if I'm
fair.
rich, you can stay here. I'll make the house, and when you finish, you can come meet me.
Yep.
That's fair.
I am in utter disbelief at your experience and how terrible that was. I'm so sorry. That sucks.
It was terrible and horrible, and I think possibly the worst experience I've ever had. And boy, have I had some experiences.
Yeah, that's a high bar.
Yeah, that bar is just fucking through the roof. But this one, I have never been unable to do anything but breathe. That's a weird feeling. Just all you can do is breathe.
Dude, they saw that bar and was like, hold my beer. Let's do it the American way. Jesus.
Bitch, fuck these guys. But now everyone's worried. They're like, you can't be alone.
Yeah, no, I'm on board with that. Yeah, you can't
Everyone's
be alone.
like, you can't be alone. We can't leave you alone.
My husband's like, order Vale a life alert.
Yeah, right.
No lie, I was thinking about something like that. I was like, I need to get something like that. Like, if it's really, really bad, I need to get in contact with someone.
Yeah,
I'm not always gonna have my phone on me.
Yeah, no, you should invest
You know, like,
in one of those with your victory money.
I've fallen. I can't get up.
My God.
Ouch. Holy cow. So yeah, my husband might be leaving for 6 months, and he was like, "Go fucking live with your mom."
Was it supposed to leave like right after your surgery? And
He was supposed to leave like the day of my surgery, and he was like, "Bitches, I swear to Christ, you could not have a worse fucking time to fucking send me out." And they're like, "Oh, your wife is in the hospital with surgery? Pass." And he's like, "Yay."
Good. Well,
I guess in 6 months you'll need to have another surgery.
yeah.
No, it's in 2 months.
Oh, 2 months.
It's in 2 months, and he's going to be gone for 6 months.
Ah, that's it. The number dyslexia switched it all up on me.
But it's a maybe. It's a maybe. Maybe it won't happen.
It's a maybe. It's a maybe only if people volunteer. He's like number 1 on the list to leave because he's never left before.
Oh.
But when you get deployed, you get paid more money. And some people, especially if they're single, will volunteer so that they can get paid more money. So we're sitting here like, fucking volunteer, bitches. Come on, you can do it.
Yeah, gotta love this country, huh?
all 3 of us will send whoever it is care packages.
Yeah, right? Oh, man. Well, since we've last talked, I've had nothing exciting happening. So...
Honestly, that's pretty good. Between nothing happening and this kind of excitement,
Yeah.
I'd pick nothing happening.
I would say Avani's the in-between. It's a very wide space to be in-between in.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah, I mean, no, Dead Dad has been entertaining, for sure.
Oh, God.
Entertaining.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Cause like, 20 years I've wondered how I would react to this moment. And my mom my mom had surgery 3 weeks ago. Week before 4th of July, my mom had surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And so I, took her for her surgery in and out, chink. It was like a 15-minute surgery on her bladder. And so she has a follow-up doctor's appointment. Her follow-up doctor's appointment was last Thursday.
Okay.
So she calls me Thursday evening and she's like, "So I have some sad news." And my stomach drops because I'm instantly thinking, you're going to tell me your bladder cancer's back.
Yeah.
She's like, "Your dad died." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool."
And you're like, well, that's news, but I don't know if it's bad.
Like, I think I like went through every emotion in about a nanosecond before I got to cool.
Yeah.
And it's like, cause like I mourned the good dad a long time ago,
Right. Yeah.
Like I went through that emotional trauma and mourned that a really long time ago. So my mom starts crying, and I'm like, Mom, are you upset about this? Like, what the fuck, man? Now I feel like an asshole.
Right.
And she's like, I'm just so sad about, like, what you kids didn't have, and I'm like, Mom, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, would you stop? This is bullshit. No, you did great. We had everything we needed. Fuck him. You're a good mom. We don't ever have to deal with him again. It's over. Enjoy it.
Now, let me ask you, and obviously you don't have to answer, but just out of curiosity, did you ever go through he's a good dad period, or was he always just a shitty person?
No, when I was a little girl, I was daddy's little girl. And that was like up until like 3rd grade, maybe?
Yeah.
I think is when things kind of started to go downhill. And then everything kind of imploded by like 5th and 6th grade.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of it. Like, that's around when my parents divorced by like 6th grade.
Yeah.
And they were living separately. And then I kind of hung in there till about freshman year of high school before, like, I finally called my dad I think it was a Saturday morning. It was like 9-10 o'clock in the morning. I called my dad. Because like I said, I was all about my dad growing up.
Yeah.
And I called my dad, and he was already drunk or still drunk from the night before.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally was just like fed up, and I was like, it's me or the alcohol. And he said, okay, it was nice knowing you.
Oh my God, that is...
And I was like...
And then I'm throwing punches.
Okay. And I hung the phone up, and that was kind of it. I think maybe once, like, I kind of tried, but I just could never make that connection again.
It's kind of crazy. Like, those exact words that you just said about that conversation is the exact words that one of my friends went through with their dad, who unfortunately, like, it wasn't the same exact situation, but he was a drunk, and she said, you know, it's me or the alcohol, and he was like, all right, bye. And like, she hit that point when she was already an adult, so like, she still kind of talks to him every now and again, even though, like, she doesn't deal with his shit, but like, she can't let that connection go, you know. But that just brought me to a place. When you said that, I was like, oh my God, I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Sadly, it's a common story, and fuck dads for doing that. It's because it's mainly dads. Like, sure, moms also do it. But tell me that the vast majority are not the dads.
I mean, alcoholism, I think, just in general runs more rampant in men.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, that was kind of it. Like, that, it was like a switch flipped.
Yeah.
And bless my mother, who has reminded me and my sister every day, well, every time it comes up, you know, your dad was a good dad at a time. Your dad was a good husband at a time. He was a good friend at a time. Just because he turned to shit as an alcoholic doesn't mean that there isn't a good person in there. And there's never been a time she hasn't encouraged us to have a healthy relationship with him. But, you know, like, we were talking about it, I don't know, earlier this week or something, and I said, look, he chose 20 years ago to not have me in his life, and he made that same exact choice every day for 20 years. Like, how upset should I be? I don't have that in me anymore. I mourned my dad a long time ago.
Right.
You know, I mourned that person a long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, did you go through therapy for it at all, or is that something you just came to on your own? Like,
so I've been through a lot of therapy. I refuse to talk about what my dad put us through.
I'm sorry. Heather looked like she was loading.
No,
I'm
trying to think of how to rephrase my question. Like, did the therapist, like, did you, not that you talked about what he put you through, but just the fact that he once was a good dad and turned into a shit dad, like, did you have that sort of conversation, or just not at all?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, when I was going through therapy, I was in high school and I was angsty, and so I think I had a lot more anger at the world.
Yeah.
And I probably took a lot of that out on my poor mother. Put up with so much. But so I don't know that until I was more mature I ever really made that connection.
Got it, yeah.
But also anytime a therapist kind of tries to nudge into dad territory, I just quit going.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, no, that's locked away. We've suppressed all of that, and I am a functional human being. Do not unlock it and traumatize me. I'm good.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah. I mean, obviously my situation with my mother wasn't nearly as bad. You know, she wasn't an alcoholic. She was just verbally fucking abusive out the ass. But I went through a lot with her, and it was my therapist that when I was in my early 20s that I was going to, that told me, like, you need to mourn the mother you once had and your idea of the mother that you want.
Yeah.
And that just, I had never thought about doing that. I'd never heard of that. So, like, that was just so mind-blowing to me, you know, that, like, oh shit, maybe I should. Just, like, and I don't know, because, like, at first I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. That feels like I'm just, like, feeling sorry for myself. But no, it's kind of necessary.
Yeah, grieving isn't limited to somebody dying. You know, you can grieve, you know, a long friendship that just went different ways, or you had a falling out. Like, those things are necessary. They were still really deep emotional bonds. I've done a lot of grieving at different points in my life over times where I should have had a dad there.
Right.
And the things you don't get from not having a dad there.
Right.
You know, and then you kind of get to a point where it's like, you know, yeah, I know I don't have that. And yeah, it kind of bums me out because I could have, because I know how good it could have been.
Right.
But at the same time, I was fortunate enough to have a mom who knew how bad the situation was, and who was strong enough and determined enough and willing to fight hard enough to get her kids and herself out, and fought every day to make sure we had everything we needed. So
she stepped up.
Yeah, I mean, she's always been there for us, always made sure that we had everything. So it's kind of like, yeah, I had a shitty situation for a while when I was a kid, and yeah, it sucks that I kind of lost my dad through the process because he succumbed to alcoholism, but I'm so much more fortunate than kids whose parents don't figure out how to get out of it, or don't have the resources to get out of it, or don't have the family support to get out of it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with the fact that you haven't really felt grievy over it at all. Yeah. I feel like something like that is natural. I mean, going back to what I said when you first messaged us about it, like, if somebody sucks, you know, like...
I think I was like, if it's not worth your emotions, there's no point.
Yeah.
It's like, so my husband, when his dad died, that man was a terrible human being. Like, he felt bad that he didn't feel bad, but he also kind of felt bad because he did have a dad at one point. And I was like, me personally, I didn't really know the old man. I mean, he was a dick to me like twice, but like dick to me through him, like he said some shit. He had never even met me.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, fuck that, dude. And like, my husband was like sad for like a day, and then he was like, I was like the little devil on his shoulder who's like, the guy was a dick. Does he deserve these emotions right now? Suppress it.
Suppress it. Bury it.
I was just being a dick about it because, like, I had heard so many horrible stories about this person. Like, I had seen, like, my husband had to, like, intern him in a psychiatric facility. And then he had to pick him up because the nurses couldn't handle him.
Oh my
Like, there were
goodness.
such horrible stories about this man, and I was like, fuck him.
Yeah, I mean, not to be a horrible person over here, but also like kind of good riddance. Like,
I was like,
Yeah.
well,
I think it's like one of the things I said to my mom, and it feels horrible to say, is like, 20 years I wondered how I'd feel. And number one, the bastard made it a lot longer than I thought he was. And number two, I didn't think jovial was gonna be a feeling I would go through.
yeah,
But the truth of it is my dad would pop back into my life in the most bizarre way at
yeah,
the most random times.
yeah,
And like, I always had this anxiety and this fear that like one day he would just show up at my door.
yeah.
And I didn't want that.
Well, I think like,
And so I was relieved. I was relieved that like never again do I even have to worry about this trauma happening. Like I don't, it's over. It's officially totally over. And while it's like it's totally sad the way it went down, and apparently like he was dead in the house for like a week before he was found.
well,
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
that itself kind of speaks volumes to,
well, I guess he had a friend that was trying to get in touch with him, and after about a week and hadn't heard from him, called the neighbors.
yeah,
So I think that it was just kind of one of those things that it's like it is sad how it happened, and it's sad how like our whole lives played out and that it had to come to the thing it did. But I'm too old and I'm too far into my life to spend my time and my emotions and my energy
yeah,
on being upset about it, because now there's definitely nothing that's going to change it.
right, yeah. It is what it is. And that's how it ended.
Yeah.
it was what it was, and now it's in the past.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
I get it. I get it. I mean, like, my situation is kind of weird just because I never left the house. I bought the house and they live here with me.
Yeah.
So, like, but I still wonder. I wonder a lot how I'll be when she passes, and it's like, on one hand, if I would have moved out, like, like my siblings did, and, cut that connection, at that point in my life, I wouldn't have the very minimal and pretty shaky, but still there relationship that I have with her now, that she's like calmed the fuck down over the so like it's in one way I'm like, I still don't know how sad I'll be, if I'll be sad.
That's exactly where I was.
Yeah. Right. Like, I don't know. And anything could happen from now till then that'll change it, and I know that. But, it is just a weird place to be, to, think of one of your parents and go, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how upset I'll be.
I mean, it is, because you think, like, God, like, that's, I mean, you're my parent, like, you made me. But then you think about all these people who literally, like, their parents left when they were 2.
Right.
Like, they're not upset when their dad dies. Like, they don't fucking know.
Yeah.
They're upset their dad left them in the first place.
Right.
So I think it's just, like, it sounds shitty and it sounds shady, but if you really think about it, like, we mourn emotional bonds.
Right.
So if that emotional bond isn't there to mourn, whether it be when they're alive or when they're dead, whenever somebody leaves your life, then you're just kind of keep on going.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like, this is serious, and Chloe just walks up to Heather, looks her dead in the face for a few seconds.
Like, such a pretty girl.
Yeah. The big comfy chair I was using as a desk chair was starting to be uncomfy for desk activities. So it is now directly to my right so she can cuddle near me.
Aww.
She was very upset when I made the change, though. She was laying in the chair and she just kept staring at me. And at one point she wanted to get to the window, so she forced herself behind me in this much smaller computer chair. And I was like, bitch, you can't even get out now. Like, What? Yeah, I'm talking shit about you. Sorry, puppy time.
Yeah,
are
the
great.
puppy's just like super distracting. Like I was paying attention, but then I just saw Chloe just like come up and just stand right there next to your face.
she just appears. She does what she wants. She owns this whole house.
Gatsby house.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah. That's it for this one. Be sure to join us for our next episode and check out our other content on Twitch and YouTube. We've got Late Night Dungeon Fight, J&H Nerdcast, and ND Vale. We also have another podcast, Out of the Spirit Box, where we talk about a bunch of spooky shit. Hope to see you there, and thanks for your support. Bye!
Bye.